Hey everyone, it's me, Alex the Hunted. The Pacific Rim review is on its way, but while you wait for that, I thought I'd give you a quick top 10 video of my favourite monsters from the Godzilla universe, not including Godzilla because, well, we all know what position he would be. My least favourite, well, that's a list for a later day. Anyway, the rules for this list are very simple. The monster has to have appeared in a Godzilla movie to make the list. Okay, that's sorted, let's go. Number 10! Jet Jaguar. Starting off strong, yes, I know, I'm a Jet Jaguar fan, and you should be too. Just look at that design, how can you not smile looking at it? And in all honesty, I think an update to this design would be absolutely perfect and fit in perfectly in a Pacific Rim movie. While his only movie appearance doesn't exactly put him in the best of shows, really, he gets his ass kicked. In other medias like the games and the comics, Jet Jaguar is a total badass. The best example is in the IDW comic, Godzilla Rulers of the Earth. Jet Jaguar is just awesome. And, well, I'll put it this way, he pilots Mechagodzilla. Enough said. Number 9! Orga. This is a monster I like more in concept than execution. Orga being an outright alien from outer space, I think is perfect, and his abilities sort of match like a Cell type storyline. Well, I think the idea is very cool, and I love how strong this monster is in the games. In its main and only movie appearance, lack of screen time doesn't really get to show off this kaiju as well as it can be, and the design isn't that great. It's basically just a space orc. And I think he deserves way more love than he currently gets. Rumour has it that he's going to be in the Godzilla anime, and if so, let's hope he gets a chance to actually show off his true power and his true self, and just show off how brilliant this idea can be. Number 8! Mothra. Mothra? Only number 8 on the list? Okay, yes, I like Mothra. Like everyone does. I even have a toy of her. But there's a simple reason why she's this low on the list. It's very simple. She's in far too many movies. Hell, she's in half of the Millennium series of movies. She is used way too much. But other than that, I really like her. And I like the idea of her being Earth's guardian monster. She's basically a goddess. And while her design really reflects that, she looks more gentle and kind and loving, she can absolutely kick your ass if she wants to. She's one of the few monsters to have beaten Godzilla consistently. I really like her design, I really like the idea of her, and I really like her evolution throughout the films. She's basically started off as a monster that was worshipped as a god, to becoming an actual god herself. And I think that she's one of the few monsters that can hold its own movie, if given so. I mean, she's had her own trilogy from Toho, so if Legendary decide they want to do other movies other than Godzilla and King Kong, Mothra is a prime candidate to get her own movie. Again. And I really hope she does. Number 7! Destroyer! This is a monster I love more in its design. Destroyer doesn't really have much to do in the movies, basically because the design really limits the lack of movements that it has, but my god, this design is epic! This is absolutely what you would think is the final monster that Godzilla fought in the Heisei era. It looks like a final boss in some Japanese RPG game, something you would see in Final Fantasy. He looks like the kaiju embodiment of Satan, and I absolutely love it. I love its origin, being that it's made from the weapon that killed the first Godzilla. In other words, it's a monster that was made from a weapon that can kill Godzilla, so in essence, this monster can kill Godzilla. I love how its origin also brings the series completely full circle. And it's also in one of the best movies in the series as well. Godzilla vs. Destroyer is, maybe you could argue, the best movie in the Heisei era. It's definitely in the top 3. I really hope we see more of it, because this is actually a monster I think that could actually be one of the kaijus that come off as more scary, as more terrifying. Its design definitely fits to that purpose, and I definitely think it could be a more terrifying kaiju, whereas Godzilla's more, destructive. Destroyer can just be more evil, if you get my drift. But anyway, want to see more of it? Love this design. I honestly don't see a way it could be improved. It's that brilliant a design. Number 6! Megalon. Yeah, I'm a fan of the bug. I think it has a really great design, a really unique design, and I also love Megalon's personality. It's one of the few monsters that gets a defined personality in his movie. It behaves basically like a child, and it's worshipped like a god. While the people of Seatopia are calling this monster an epic monster god that will destroy all of mankind, when you see it in the movie, it's skipping around and having fun. It's not a very smart monster, but it also really takes joy out of being evil and destroying stuff. It's one of the few monsters that has a laugh. It's a very unique design. There isn't ever been a monster that has drill hands before or since. Probably more for practical reasons, because what really could it do? But anyway, I just love it. I love its personality. It's a real guilty pleasure of mine, and I want more monsters like it. Number 5, Mechagodzilla. I was only going to pick one Mechagodzilla for this list, and I picked my personal favourite, and that would be Mechagodzilla 3. Sorry, Kiru. I absolutely adore this design. It's perfect in my mind. As for Mechagodzilla as a kaiju, well, I love Mechagodzilla more as a villain, and I would love to see a modern evil-looking Mechagodzilla, but the way things are going, I doubt that'll ever happen. I just love the idea of Mechagodzilla. I especially love the idea of Mechagodzilla 3 being built out of the skeleton of the first Godzilla. All 3 versions of Mechagodzilla have their own charms and their own disadvantages, and I love all of them. But Mechagodzilla 3 is my personal favourite. I love its weapons, I love its origins, I love its kind of storyline it gets through 2 movies. It doesn't really have much of a personality, but just looking at it, I actually see a sort of Pacific Rim look to it. It definitely does look like it's straight out Pacific Rim, and this movie came out, what, 14 years before it? Sorry, 12 years before it. And I would really like to see an updated Mechagodzilla make an appearance in this monsterverse. Number 4, Gigan. Dear God, I love Gigan, especially the 2004 Gigan. It's one of the coolest and most unique monsters around, with its sword hands, or chainsaw hands if you really want to make it look like a total badass, and it's one of Godzilla's strongest foes. But I also see it having a very unique fighting style to any other monsters. Most monsters usually just run in and take all the hits. Gigan's a more tactical fighter, using more skills in its fight, flying away, making tactical retreats if it has to. It's definitely a more interesting monster that Godzilla has to fight. And this is also the first monster to ever make Godzilla bleed. It's a perfect piece of Japanese design, and it's a total badass, and I love Gigan. Number 3, Biollante. What a wonderful piece of practical art and practical effects Biollante is. There has never been a more unique monster than Biollante in any Godzilla movie. In most monster movies you don't get a practical design that looks just this unique and this well made. I love how it works. I love the effort that's put into it. 22 people are required to make Biollante work. And it's a shame this monster doesn't really get the love it deserves. Although it has seen a more resurgence in popularity in recent years, and I can completely see why. I'm one of those fans. I also think its origin is completely unique as well. She's not really evil, she's not an evil monster, but she's not really good either. She's very much like Godzilla, she's a force of nature. And she's also the only Godzilla monster that's made out of a plant. Yeah, that's a plant. It's a crocodile hydra plant, and I love it. Number 2, King Ghidorah. Yeah, I'm that predictable. I love King Ghidorah, and you should too. I love how King Ghidorah is basically Godzilla's Joker, his Freezer, his arch nemesis. And I just love how evil he can be. I think the best version of King Ghidorah design-wise was the King Ghidorah in Rebirth of Mothra 3. You see that design and it completely fits the planet-destroying god dragon. And that's my personal favourite version of King Ghidorah. It's not some fusion of chibi cute monsters, and it's not a good guy. King Ghidorah is an absolute evil planet-killing bastard, and he's Godzilla's main bad guy, and I cannot wait to see what they do with him in Godzilla King of the Monsters. Number 1, Anguirus. Who saw this coming? Yeah, I fucking love this guy. I do have a slight bias because he was in the first Godzilla movie I ever saw, Godzilla vs. Gigan. But I just can't help but love this guy. He's Godzilla's best buddy for a reason. I mean, you look at him and yes, he's the first monster Godzilla ever fought, but you look at him in later films and you definitely think, when you look at this design, yes, he's Godzilla's ally. I love his design. It's very simple, but it's very memorable. He's a kaiju I definitely want to see in the legendary Monsterverse. And I don't want him to be a bad guy either. I want him to be Godzilla's ally in whatever movie he appears in. Yeah, I think Anguirus is awesome. Yes, he's not the strongest monster around, but I can't help but love this guy. And I'm not alone, because looking up for this video, Anguirus has a surprisingly large fan base. Hell, he even has a song written about him. I can see why everyone loves him, and I want to see more of him. He's my favourite monster, and maybe for once, in a later movie, he'll actually win a fight. And he's my personal favourite kaiju that isn't Godzilla. So that was my quick list. What did you think? Tell me in the comments below, and also tell me your favourite kaijus as well, not including Godzilla. And of course, don't forget to subscribe for more videos, and tell me what you think of these quick videos if you would like to see more of them. And I'm Alex the Hunted, and I'll see you guys next time.